Adanis are back in the news, and then we have NSE, which has hit 11 crore investors mark, and stocks like Sagility India, which is up 20% in just 5 days. But then there is stocks like Intellect Design, which is up 26% in just 2 days, and a lot of other interesting news. Hey guys, welcome to today's post market report. And as you can see, right in front of me, I have the Nifty's chart on a 15-minute time frame. And yesterday, like I mentioned, day before yesterday was a market holiday, and now here I mentioned that on the upper hand, this is the only resistance zone that you should be paying attention to at the moment. And clearly market opened and took resistance from that zone and then came off. And then clearly on the downside, we notice a little bit of support zone here, but still not a major zone. So clearly this is something that I'll be watching out for, I myself as a trader, tomorrow. But then on a bigger time frame, guys, even this is these are very feeble supports and resistance, but the major mammoth of a support actually lies down over here. If I open it on an early time frame, you'll be able to see that very clearly, right? So this is the zone that I myself am waiting for the last I think 10 to 12 trading days. So clearly this is where my peak interest goes off. And then next off, I have the Bank Nifty's chart as well. Over here, if you can see, right, again another extremely sideways market. If I open it on a 15 minutes time frame, you will notice that it also took resistance from the zone that I mentioned in yesterday's video, right? So basically, it's a zone that has actually quite well respected in the last few days. So clearly market opened and went up to that particular point and took that resistance and came off. And then for the rest of the day, the entire day was again sideways, like we have seen for the last, I think 5 to 6 trading sessions, right? So a very similar pattern we are able to notice that day after day. So clearly it's until we hit some sort of a major zone, we're gonna keep on seeing this same sort of boring market. But then even in such a boring market, we have a lot of interest. For example, NSE basically made an announcement today, like I mentioned in my all my previous post market videos as well. Whenever we come to the year end, we get all these interesting news about the interesting statistics about the stock market. And clearly here's another one of them, that is NSE has actually registered 11 crore new investors. And out of this is very interesting. UP is one among the most people are from UP. So that's a very good news. You see, states like UP, which are considered to be a bit backward now due to the revolution of all these industrial revolution. Now we're able to notice that more and more people from all these states are actually coming back to the stock market. So clearly that's a great news. Still, we have 100 crore, 120 crore worth of people. So this is nothing. We still have a lot more people yet to enter the stock market. So clearly a great news, great feed for NSE as well. And next off, we actually made a video about this new IPO that is coming out called as IGI, International Gemological Institute, and apparently they have hit 10% today after getting listed, because they made some sort of a strategic acquisition of two companies worth a whopping $150 million. I'm not sure if they're just waiting to get listed to announce this news, but clearly either way, this is a great news for the stock. So it has gone up by 10%. Right? As you can see here, you have the a chart of it as well, opened with a slight gap up, and then back to the upper circuit at 10%, trading at around 580 rupees. So next off, I have Sagility India, which I mentioned at the start of this video, has gone up by 5%. So Sagility India is basically a technological company in the healthcare sector. And we have noticed that all these brokerage companies have been very positive about the Indian pharmaceutical companies. And even though it doesn't fall under the category of a pharmaceutical company, it operates in the healthcare sector. So clearly even it has gotten some sort of a coverage from an investment banking firm called as JP Morgan. I've mentioned this again and again. Whenever a foreign banking company or a foreign investment company makes some sort of a coverage on Indian stocks, obviously all the people who follow those investment banking companies will also come and purchase these stocks. So that's why we see a huge jump in Sagility India as well, 20% in just 5 days. So that's really great. So next up, we have a bit of a news or statistics about the Indian real estate as well. This affects a lot of real estate related stocks, but you can see there's a little bit of a downtrend, and a little bit of a negativity in the real estate sector, but nothing so much so that you would have to see, call it a bear trend or nothing of that sort. So basically the news comes after this, saying that the sales margin in the housing sales has actually gone down by 4% in almost all the top cities like Kolkata, Chennai, apparently. So this is one of the reason maybe why the real estate sector has been a little bit dull for the last month or so. So next off, you can even see. So next off, I have the main news, that is Adani. Adani's have, so basically, and we have the main news of the day, that is Adani again back in the news. As you can see, up about 5, 2 and 3% each. So clearly Adani's own a large portfolio in India. They own ports, they own energy related stocks, they own the entire cement sector now. So clearly Adanis are into a little bit of everything, and it turns out they also have a defense arm. This is not listed in the stock market, but they own a defense arm called as Adani Defense and Aerospace. Apparently, they have acquired a very major controlling stake of 85% in a private aircraft company. So apparently, this is good for their other business because they own a lot of stuff, and clearly apparently they needed this, so which is actually worth about 400 crores. So this is a positive news for the company because they'll not have to go to some other private company. Now they can just do it on their own, I suppose. So that is why it's a very positive news for Adani, and we can clearly see that in the stock's reaction. So next off, we have Intellect Design. The stock actually went up 27% in just 2 days, right? And there was no major news. They had launched some sort of a AI called as Purple AI, but still it was not, it was not such an interesting news that the stock would go by 27%. So today the exchange actually asked them, why is it going up? Have you not disclosed anything? Because even exchange themselves were confused as to why Intellect Design was going up, and they have apparently made some sort of a basically a clarification today to the exchange, saying, what, there hasn't been any major change in the company that we would have to come out and mention it, because all these listed companies have to mandatorily go and tell the exchange that they have to go and tell SEBI or NSE, BSE that what, this is the news, this is, we are keeping you updated, because it's a listed company that have taken money from the public, right? So they have this sort of a responsibility to tell if there's anything about the stock. So clearly company says stock is just going up because of I guess high volumes. So there's nothing major to announce, but still it's very impressive. 2 days, 27%. That's just great. As you can see the chart as well, huge volume spike. This is, at least if you look at the previous volumes, it looks like at least 100% jump from there, right? So that's a really good news for the stock. Next off, we have Godfrey Phillips actually went up by 9% because their COO actually changed. Now they have a new COO named Siddharth Chawla, that is Operating Officer. So apparently this is a good news, because if I take you to the chart of Godfrey Phillips, you can notice that there is a clear downtrend. Stock was making lower lows, and now finally we have a good news, a change in the management. So the market is actually pretty bullish about the news. So we can see a huge volume spike as well as the price going up. Next off, we have Amber, which has actually gone up by 31% in 5 days. A lot of stock, even though the overall market is very sideways, we notice stocks like this going up by 20-30%. So clearly they had some sort of a demerger, which is actually good for the company, and today they have made a clarification on top of that. So clearly it's a great news for the stock as well.
If you're a trader following market calls and tips for day trading, use our tool RNT, Research and Trade. All you have to do is link RNT to your trading account, then just sit and relax. Turn trading into business at app.gwcindia.live. Check out description for more details.
Disclaimer: investments in the securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.